has pieced together some extraordinary details of Monday's demonstrations from Islamabad.
Dramatic developments in Tehran today. Many wondered if Iran's opposition movement was dead, the so-called Green Movement that burst onto the scene in 2009 after the presidential elections. We hadn't heard much from them for the past year because of a brutal government crackdown, but on Monday they made a comeback. According to witness accounts, at one point the crowds grew into the tens of thousands. Video clips of Monday's protests have been posted on YouTube. It was often the cat and mouse games that we saw more than a year ago. Security forces chasing protesters away. Video clips showed protesters chanting anti-government slogans like "death to the dictator." That chant we'd heard before, but we heard a new one on Monday. There was a clear sign that this protest was sparked by the uprisings in Egypt and Tunisia. Take a listen. The protesters there are essentially chanting, the former leaders of Egypt and Tunisia are gone. Now it's time for Iran's supreme leader to be gone. Based on witness accounts, these protests were largely peaceful, but it did get ugly at times. This was a man who tried to protect the poster of Iran's supreme leader. He was beaten by a group of men who a short time later burned that poster of Ayatollah Khamenei. Witnesses tell us that at least 24 people were detained in Monday's protest. Remember, this was a rally that was called for by Iran's opposition movement. Its two leaders in support of the uprisings in Egypt. The government rejected their request. They warned people not to come out. Clearly, this opposition movement in Iran defied those warnings, and clearly they were energized by the uprising in Egypt. Where this movement goes from here, it's not clear. The two leaders are under tremendous pressure. It doesn't have much of an organization or much of a structure, but clearly they made a statement on Monday that they still have a heartbeat, they still have numbers, and a lot of grievances against the government.